a lot of people at the beginning were like, what are you talking about? Why would I undress on the internet? That's way too vulnerable.
I'm Elisa.
And I'm Lily.
And we're the co-founders of StyleLikeU.
And we also happen to be mother and daughter. Believe it or not, it's been 10 years since we started our What's Underneath series.
We were doing our closet series before What's Underneath, where we went into people's homes.
And we started to realize that the unifying thread of all the people that we were drawn to was not their actual clothes. It was actually about their comfort and who they were.
And just a way that you move and a way that you are in the world.
So we thought, we should show you all how style really isn't about clothes, and style really is about what's underneath. It's been a wild ride, right, Mom?
It's been an unbelievably magical ride.
We didn't think it was going to become anything. We thought it was going to be like a anti-fashion week statement that we did 1 year and that was it. When we started, it was very spontaneous. The first shoot, we came up with the questions: what does your style say about you? What are the assumptions that people make about you based on your appearance? What's your biggest insecurity that you're working on overcoming? What's your biggest struggle? When do you feel the most beautiful? When do you feel the most vulnerable? And then why in your body is it a good place to be? 5 minutes before the first person showed up, we were like, what should they sit on in the interview? And then we were like, oh, maybe a stool? And we ran to the hardware store, got the stool.
It's been the same stool
the
the
same
whole time.
stool for the last decade that many hundreds of people have sat on that same stool. Once those first few people did it and everybody could see an example of how cathartic and healing and powerful and transformative it was, then it snowballed.
Yeah, it snowballed. And
we're gonna take you all now on a little bit of a journey down memory lane from 2014 to now, and we're gonna reflect on some of the most memorable, transformative moments, although it's very hard for us to narrow it down. Right, Mom?
impossible, because we are literally obsessed with every single person.
So the first moment that we want to talk about is our video with Erin Lefkowitz.
I kind of knew I had an eating disorder last year, but I was in denial. You know, everyone joked around on me, oh, she's anorexic, but I couldn't see it. So since January, I've gained about 30 pounds, and my world kind of turned upside down. Everything that was a security to me, I had to get rid of.
Erin had just come out of rehab for anorexia. She had the incredible bravery to come in and share everything that she was feeling in terms of being in a completely new body, one that she was very self-conscious about and felt fat in.
This was so groundbreaking at the time because we were in a moment in culture where people were not yet really talking about their bodies in this way.
I suddenly got my period for the first time in over 10 years. And I feel so much more serene and graceful.
Erin's video was the first one where we had one person for the entire episode.
Well, Erin's was the one that made us realize that, because after the interview, we were like, this is too profound. We have to put it in its own episode.
Yeah, we were just at the beginning of something that was about to explode.
The next video that we want to talk about is our interview with Melanie Gatos. So she has a physical condition called ectodermal dysplasia. But at the end of the interview, we ask, her about why her body's a good place to be. And she basically says,
it's a good place to be because it's the only place you can be. I have thought about what life would be like if I was born without a cleft palate and maybe with a full head of hair. I think I would be really boring. I think it wouldn't be very exciting. Not to imply that I don't think your lives are unexciting, but I'm really the only person that can deal with what I've been through, and I wouldn't want to wish what I have on anyone else. Even though I've been through a lot, I like where everything has brought me today.
Melanie was definitely one of those people who kind of turned me inside out and upside down, in terms of what my previous brain would have deemed to be beautiful.
And that was such a mind flip reprogramming moment for us, of just realizing that beauty is in owning who you are.
And it was her depth and it was her struggle that made her beautiful. That's what we always find at the end of each video, is that the person is radiating and glowing beauty. It's coming out of every pore. It's filling the room. It's transforming us. It's blinding. It's absolutely blinding. And that is how I feel about Melanie. I think she's blindingly beautiful.
Next, we want to talk about our interview with Paloma El Cesar. Since interviewing her in 2014, has gone on to become one of like the leading supermodels in the whole world.
There's so many girls in this world who have the same body as me. It's important for me to be sitting here. Like, I need to get over myself, that it's important for like somebody else to see that. The girls that like, who are like my size, who are hiding.
She recognizes that it's important for her to be sitting on this stool and representing girls that look like her, because at the time there was nobody in media that you could be reflected. She's really, really been an incredibly inspiring, groundbreaking force, and we're tickled that we got to interview her at the beginning of that journey.
The next episode that we wanted to share with you is the one that we did with Gail Chauvin, who had a double mastectomy from breast cancer.
And she chose not to get reconstructive surgery.
My husband and I've talked about it, and he misses it. And I said, you know, this is my decision and this is who I am. No matter what they do to you, you're going to constantly look at it and you're not going to be happy, because you want it to be the way it was. It's never going to be the way it was. I'm like, I'm just going to move forward, and this is who I am.
We all struggle so much trying to cling to some old version of ourselves or how we used to look when we were skinnier or younger or whatever. And I think Gail had like a message that was just so much bigger than even she realizes with saying that.
The beauty was that she didn't think she needed to go back, that where she was perfect. We interviewed Liesl.
Liesl is the funniest person that you'll ever see a video on, in my opinion.
And I said, how much would it cost to do this? And he said $15,000. So of course, I would never do it. I only wanted to know the price.
She, at the time of interviewing her, she was 87, but she said in the interview that she likes to say she's 88 because she likes to be 1 year older.
I make myself 1 year older. I don't want to look younger or be younger. I like to be 1 year ahead.
When we live in this society that makes us all feel ashamed of our age and like it's a taboo to even ask someone how old they are, she's not only saying her age, but she's making herself 1 year older to just flip that whole thing on its head and make aging cool. She's the coolest person I've ever met. So we interviewed Lizzo in 2014 prior to her becoming famous, and it was super powerful. It was the first time that she ever took her wig off.
But once I started wearing weaves, it was over. It was just like different braids every day, different weaves every day, trying to mask what was coming out of my head.
And really calls out the systemic racism around Black women and their hair, and the multi-billion-dollar business behind counting on the fact that Black women are going to want to change their hair and buy Eurocentric hair.
They already knew when I was born, they're like, we're gonna make so much money off of this baby because she is going with weaves to try to look like.
And it was during a time that she was still like deeply struggling with her body image, and she now cites in interviews, and she even wrote a song inspired by What's Underneath called My Skin. That was the moment in her life that transformed her whole relationship to her body and kind of informed the mission that she then went on to live and breathe in her art and her career. Alok Vade Menon, who
was just, the minute they started speaking, it was like walking into the beginning of a new era.
I feel like the way I understand my gender is that I am both a man and a woman, and neither a man or a woman. I think they see me and they see me as a failure. None of us fit into norms. I am me. I am Alok. And Alok exists outside of your colonial white supremacist heteronormative gender binary.
You know, you're sitting in this room with Alok. You come from a different generation, a generation that probably is struggling a lot to adapt to like thoughts about gender. What is it in you that has enabled you to like absorb this and like let it change you instead of resist this change?
Everyone, including Alok, is just a mirror to me and my lack of freedom in myself. The areas in myself that I haven't allowed to come out for fear of judgment, for fear of losing love. Instead of like jumping to be afraid, take a minute and see how this person can actually unblock you and the areas where you may be tucking parts of yourself and hiding parts of yourself just to feel like you can live safely. The next episode that we want to share with you is the one on Lauren Wasser.
I had model parents my whole life, and so I grew up in the industry of everyone being beautiful and a world that just doesn't exist. It's not reality. But I was always just lost in kind of being that cool girl or that pretty girl or that whatever it was.
Until Lauren had a sudden and extreme case of toxic shock syndrome from tampons and ended up having to have one leg amputated. Lauren went through something so unbelievably painful and extreme, and yet on the other side of it felt that she fully found herself and ultimately, you know, found her power.
Would you ever trade?
I can't think about what I had because me doing that is just going backwards. I'm trying to move forward. My heart wouldn't be full. I wouldn't feel like I'm doing good. I wouldn't feel like I'm making an impact in a positive way. I wouldn't have known what that felt like because I didn't do that before. So I don't think I would.
The next episode that we want to share with you is the one that we did with Victoria Pedretti. It was a personal favorite of mine because her whole story is about being highly sensitive. I'm very highly sensitive, and it's been a incredibly hard struggle.
I'm just scared people are gonna think I'm weird. I just always wanted friends. Now when you have so many people's eyes, do I expect all these people to embrace me fully for who I am? The idea that I might expose those more intense parts of myself, it's that idea that I won't be held.
It was a lot of validation for me to be able to hear someone else talk about their struggle with being highly sensitive and feeling like a misfit and having a difficult time with things, you know, bouncing off of you and taking things, you know, very deeply. And so it was just a very, you know, personal favorite of mine.
And last but not least at all, Janelle Monáe. She's so herself, always has been, and has like navigated the music industry and her career in such a unique way. It was at the beginning of her career where she was rejecting sort of the objectification of women and over-sexualization of women in music by wearing like a suit, a three-piece suit every day on stage.
There were folks who used this suit as a way to shame other individuals, specifically women, Black women. When a person complimented me and in the same sentence said, "Oh yeah, I'm so happy you're covered up. You're not like those women." I never took that as a compliment. I've had to make sure to check people and let them know, no. We will not do that.
To then now totally like letting her body out in a way that's like kind of inverting that and reclaiming her sexuality as her own, which was one of the most full circle experiences for us because we just love her so much and have admired and watched her whole career and have always thought her to be emblematic of what StyleLikeU stands for.
The more that we can get this message out there, the more that people feel liberated to be more of themselves and to be free in themselves. That's the kind of world that we care about living in, and you know, Janelle is definitely a big step forward in that way. And so, yeah, we love her for that. And just again, we are just so grateful to all of you. We couldn't be doing any of this without you. Let the comments flow and let us know what you want more of.